Let's go ahead and get started. EURGBP has been very, very slow per se. I'm expecting any type of correction now. We could easily see something like this. You can see easily something like that here. I would love to see that, to be honest. Why? Because we can actually try to fill some type of potential inefficiency here, and we come back into around equilibrium area. Super interesting though. I don't want to guess the low here though, and this isn't even something I want to buy, to be honest. But as you can see, momentum is definitely slowing down. Right, everything is getting super narrow. I just wonder which way it's going to pop. If it pops up, good. It gives us another opportunity to come lower. But if not, you know, showing its hand, continuation, lower. Definitely something interesting. Not something I'm even looking at right now. All this is doing is, you know, creating a very structured move to the downside. Right, as you can see, starting from here to pop up, interruption, release, pop up, interruption, release, pop up, pop down. So it's at a very undesired area for me. Not really too keen on wanting to take this higher. But yeah, I mean, if this finally gives us a push up, you can easily take a nice intraday trade as long as we take any type of high, right? Preferably this one, right? The reason why I say that, structural range in play. So even if we take this up here, this can still come lower. So yeah, just something to be, you know, very mindful of. Not necessarily something I see any type of scenario. Like I said, this can easily go both ways. It really just depends on, let's say we come up here, it really just depends on what happens in a potential point of interest here. We can either react or we can break structure. Either way, not going to be mad about either one. DXY though, okay. So let me bring something up first. Okay, we have now taken out that previous high that we were talking about from, I believe, last week. Okay, so because we've broken this now, I'm now referencing this entire leg. Okay, meaning this can now easily see some type of upside if the catalyst, right, doesn't fail. And I'm going to show you what I mean by if the catalyst doesn't fail. But pretty much, right, I'm focused now on this entire leg, right, and we can see a ton of potential areas where this can reverse. So I don't really want to pick a high now. I want to see this, I want to have this show its hand to essentially go from there. Something that's interesting to me though is seeing if whether or not we're going to break this high here. The reason why I say that is because this essentially this corrective movement started from this high, right? Because up until this high, we were just essentially just running, you know, down lower and lower. After this pretty much final drop here is when we started seeing that not corrective, but, you know, a lot more stallment in price, right? You're seeing it struggle come lower, right? And this struggle here is what essentially is inclined price to move higher. So I'm curious to see if we're going to break this high or not. There's even a point of interest here, I believe. I think it's H1. Yeah, you can easily see that there is a final push up here before coming down. We haven't came to type that. On top of that, we have relative equal highs there, right? But I believe we've already topped those. Yeah, we have. But yeah, it's just super, super interesting to me. I just come here. Very, very interesting. I believe H1. Yeah, H1 is that. 30-minute, you see essentially this. So I'm more so referencing Actually, I'm gonna just do this. All right, pretty much just referencing what happens here inside of this area. There's even, I believe, a 15-minute candle in there. Yeah, you could even see that. This could easily tap 50% of this general area. Very, very interesting to me. And I don't know if we're going to break that. Even though currently you can see price wanting to give us, or pretty much incline us to want to see a type of reversal here. But for the most part, since that push up that we saw last time, where we reacted, forgot from where, somewhere inside this wick. Yeah, somewhere inside that wick. We see this reaction play out, but we've already taken out 2 levels of structure. So to me, the only way that this bias was going to be intact is if this immediately gave a rundown. If this doesn't give that rundown, right, then you can see higher movement. And I believe Falco pretty much called this to a T when he pretty much guessed that. I think my Zoom is not keeping up with your analysis. Is that something everybody's seeing, or is that like Wi-Fi issue? Is it lagging for anybody? That's weird. It might be a Wi-Fi issue. Okay, cool. But anyways, yeah, Falco pretty much called this to the T here. We reacted off 50% H1. Positive, you can, yeah, you could even see that here. Right, SC here, right, from the open to the pretty much the low, right, that came to mitigate that, and that's what caused that this reaction upward. Something I didn't like here though, is that it didn't give us any retracement, didn't give us any type of mitigation. Like I would have at least wanted to see equilibrium of this range here. Didn't give that, right? Same thing here, didn't give that. It was until we actually took out these highs that we actually saw any type of retracement. Right, from here to here to here. Only time we saw a retracement. So honestly, this order flow to the upside isn't looking too convincing to me. Why? Because it's potentially, because there is no deep retracement, it's potentially leaving a ton of potential POIs down here. So even if we don't come back and react from them, right, that doesn't mean price won't come back and essentially put those orders back in profit, if that makes sense. So currently, right, from an intraday scale, right, we are stuck inside of this structure range here, right? So I want to see if we're going to come back, potentially fill an efficiency here. I don't know if we're going to come back to fill this here. Right, if you lower to M15, you can see there's potentially wicks here. All right, this is a very probable place for me, anywhere in this general area. I really want to see if price is going to come in here, react, and give us this high up here. Right, because technically structure is still bullish. So naturally, this makes a ton of sense, right, from an intraday scale. But I really want to see that if we do get that, I want to see what happens up here. And this probably wouldn't even top until tomorrow morning, tomorrow in New York. So something that's pretty interesting to me. All right, but for the most part, we're still bullish here. Still bullish here. Right, as you can see here. And the reason why this is also, this candle is very appealing is if you go to M15 here, and I believe this was 30-minute. Right, I put 30-minute inefficiency fill here. And then after this this mitigation here, we see a push down, and then we see inside of the candle that actually showed that optimism there, we see a push down there. So as you can see, there's probably a type of SC inside of that. All right, and as you can see, there's a candle here of interest, which came in, reacted from that, and created this recent high. So I know that order flow here is to the upside. I know that the order flow here is to the upside, which is why I'm saying this is a very crucial point, right? Because either we're going to react from here, right, or we're going to break through it, hopefully break structure, right, and then finally give us some type of retracement to then come lower. So tonight's London is pretty crucial for this week. Right, going on to EURUSD, pretty much the same thing here. Right, as we talked about, right, we didn't have enough data to assume this reversal here, right? And something that I've been noticing over the past couple weeks is, let me look at this right here. Right, so you see here, right, looking at order flow, right, I see this push down, which led to a move up, meaning there's probably, based on this time frame, there's probably a scalping break of structure there, came back for the pullback, right, stalled here, and then gave a last move down to give us a move up. So this is actually the candle that I had referenced. Right, something alarming to me, especially on this pair. This varies by the pair. This isn't something that I would say for like EURGBP. Right, off the bat, I saw that the POI broke. Right, so that's automatically a bad sign for me because it's not showing me that even though that we're giving a type of bullish sign here, right, it's not convincing because the POI broke. You know, so even though right, this broke, right, or pretty much closed, I mean hit the low here, right? This, even though it created, led to eventually create a new structural range here, right? And then pretty much came back here, created another structural range. This is all false optimism. Why? Because we're so focused, or I was so focused on this quote-unquote break of structure, right? But this is why I'm pretty much forcing you guys to really focus on legs, right? Even though this is the immediate leg, I'm looking at the full leg here, right? This full leg never broke, but it did give us a premium, right? And this is what who was it? Someone talked about this. Was it yesterday morning? It was Masil's. Yeah, it was Masil. I know it was him. But you guys can go back and find that. But yeah, he pretty much pointed out, right, that, or pretty much gave an explanation for what trade what you see, not what you think you see means. And I'll probably pin that. But it was a pretty good read for whoever read it. But as you can see, even though I'm so worried about a potential bullish break of structure here, I'm not considering this. Right, so am I wrong for taking a buy position here? Absolutely not. Right, but am I wrong for not taking a hedge position here? Yes, I am. Right, this is what I mean by being dynamic.
But Fredo,
yeah.
couldn't you have stayed true to the structure on 1 minute and then play on the unwillingness, that double top looking thing right there?
You're talking about here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, the
Oh,
right
you could
side.
have.
The right side.
And so
But that could have been like the end of that structural move, and then you take it down to the downside from there without actually, you know, violating your rules of structure.
Yeah, of course. So what I failed to see at first here, right, was I failed to notice this. This is intent. This is momentum, right? So notice here, every corrective move is very, very corrective looking, okay? But after we came here and we reacted from 1 minute SC here, right, we saw momentum, we saw intent, right? So even though it didn't present an opportunity here, it completely invalidates my initial bias, right?
Okay.
So even if I'm not taking a position from here, right, I'm not essentially, I'm knowing when to close my buy position. And something to realize too is if you're taking this trade here, if you're taking this trade based off the 1 minute SC, right, is, right, you don't take a break even until your initial break of structure is, right? So, right, I'm not trying to reference this now. I want you to start referencing the leg. So if you reference the leg, right, I'm now break even until this here, meaning I've already secured my position. So even though, right, I'm not break even and we see this coming back, it never even came back to my original position, right? And if a reaction is correct, it's never going to come back to that point, right? So this now, right, once this is break even, you're now pro trend, you're now following order flow, right, creating a new low, right? So that's what I kind of mean by being dynamic.
No,
Very,
I
very
totally.
hard to do. Honestly, it's something that's very, very hard to do. Why? Because you're pretty much going against what you believe is going to happen, right?
Yeah, I totally get you though. The only thing is, I'm trying to think of how we could have capitalized on that downside move
Mm-hmm.
by playing on the unwillingness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because unwillingness comes before we had the actual break of structure. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we, play that double tap?
Mm-hmm. So let me see. Was there anything on the seconds here?
Or you'd have to look at structure on the lower time frame.
The reason why I'm
On the
doing
time
that is
frame
because this
alone.
looks messy. This is looking
Oh,
very messy, like on this scale. So, and if this doesn't make sense, I'm sorry, over here. This is looking very messy on M1, right? And a lot of the times when an EU move doesn't make sense, it usually makes sense on DXY, right? So you see we came back into that candle there, but I wouldn't have even considered this a valid SC here. Right, on the 30-second, you can see that this came back here. Right, the only thing that would have held me back from wanting to take this, right, even though we had these breaks of structure here, the only reason why this would have been unappealing is because of that second candle after it, right? You see how there's essentially a pause there, and that could easily incline me to think that this is now mitigating that previous candle, which is then mitigated here, 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 here. So this would have been, anywhere here would have been my point of interest, right? But if I'm putting my point of interest here, if I'm wanting to take an entry here, right, if I'm wanting to take a position here, I'm not going to put my stop on top of this. That doesn't make sense to me, right? I'm going to put my stop at the previous high, right? Because if the bias is right, then we're not going to take out a previous structure point or a previous high or a previous low, right? If it's wrong, then yeah, obviously it isn't. So that's the only way that would have made sense to me, and I would have taken it from, right? Obviously targeting that, which is already about a 10-to-1 almost. But let's look at actually DXY for that, see if there was any type of structure there. What time was this? Okay, 9:41. Okay. Okay, yeah. So you see here. Is it here? Okay. Let's split the screen. is February 2nd. Right here. Okay, so at the exact same time here, right, 9:30, 8:30. Okay, here. Okay, so as you can see where price is currently, right, even though we didn't see the full leg be taken out here, we did see M1 structure breaks, but here you can more comfortably see that we took a previous high here. Right, so we came, right, keep in mind, this is already bullish. This is bullish. Okay, so now I'm just looking for an excuse to want to take this further higher. So in this continuation perspective, right, I don't see anything clear, right, until we see this. We see this come and take out our previous low, and then immediately react to come challenge this previous high here. So it's inclining to me a potential liquidity grab, and potentially anywhere here being a point of interest. All right, so you see how it looks a lot more cleaner on DXY than it does on EU. M15 probably. Yeah, inefficiency fill there, and as you can see on the smaller time frame, inefficiency fill there. Yeah, you see how that makes sense? Cool. Let's see. Cool. So that made sense there. But this was a lot sloppier. But yeah, that pretty much falls back to what I was saying with being dynamic, which is something that, you know, on paper is extremely simple to do, right? But I mean, trading on paper is easy to do, right? It all falls down to your psyche, falls down to you knowing yourself, and essentially going based off of that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, do you guys have any questions?
Sorry, I have one question with regards to SCs. So for me, I trade UJ, and it does this thing where it will have like a double, almost like an equal high or equal low, right? And I'm trying to play an SC.
Show me an example. Show me an example.
Oh, like is that the 5 minute?
This is H4.
No, could you go to 5 minute? This morning.
You saw this, you saw it this morning?
Yeah. I was trading this morning at about what, 6 something. Right, so I'm looking at about 3 a.m. going into 6 o'clock this morning, New York and London. So if you look at London, you can see where we have some like an equal high, or right. Where's the annotate? Maybe I can annotate.
We're here.
All right, sorry. So on the 5 minute equal high, right here, right in this area. But if we're looking at the swings, I'd say maybe somewhere off here. This here would be a swing. But I'm saying this play looked like a BOS, that leg. Then we did this equal thing here. So my anticipation was for this mitigation play right here. So we had a little stall, but then there's no follow through going down. And even here we had, and on the initial breaker structure and then pullback, we had this attempt to follow through, but it stalled, almost retesting the previous structure and then just reversing. So I
Okay,
guess
but
maybe
before
this
that,
was an
hold on.
unwillingness.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to point out. Yeah. Unwillingness off the bat. That's honestly, that's a big reason why I won't execute, is the unwillingness here, because if that doesn't break, then naturally order flows to the upside. And if you're trading based off this time frame, hold on. If you're trading based off this time frame, just even by looking back a couple of days, I see this. So,
But that's like the longer term swing for, man, for
I
like
would say
the
this is
high,
like intraday. I would say this is more of
right,
an intraday play.
for the higher
But,
time frame. Well, I was looking really at the 5 where I reside mostly.
yeah, no, this is not something I would want to sell, bro.
Yeah,
Let
I
me
get
tell you why.
the DXY.
No, because of that.
The
I've
daily
already
structure.
seen the shift here. I've already seen it show its hand. I'm seeing it show its hand again. So even if this is a probable sell, right, it's counter trend to me, right? But even though I think you're seeing this, I think this is what you're seeing, correct?
No, I actually saw what you saw,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, on an intraday level, I play either side based on the
Mm-hmm.
time that I get
Perfect.
to
Yeah,
the trend.
I see what you mean. So now, if
So,
that's what
so
you're
I was just
doing,
looking at intraday.
so you're looking at intradays and you're just targeting intraday highs, correct? Or in lows.
Right, intraday structure, and then I just
Mm-hmm.
take a quick play, and then I'm out.
Exactly. Okay, so if that's the case, then why not just follow your intraday structure? Right? Don't be
Because
too
of,
obsessed with these miniature highs and lows. Don't be too obsessed with those.
no, I'm not. I actually still use swings on those
Mm-hmm.
lower time frames. So I don't look at those support and resistance levels. I more so look at swings
Okay.
still.
Yeah, but still though, you're inside of here.
Right.
You're inside of here. Right? At the time of today. Right? So it shows that you're bullish. So just off the bat, it's very hard to justify wanting to sell this down, even if you're selling it into a discount. Right? So with me understanding this structural range, right, I'm now going to come here. Right? I see this high. Right? I see this pullback. Right? This pullback might have taken out initial breaks of structure here. Right? Not this last one, but you get what I mean. Right? It might have done that, but right, we came back to this high. Right? With momentum, if you're comparing this to this. Right? Higher momentum to the upside. Right? Not too much bullish volume, but you still do see it. You still do see it. Right, I'm now seeing this. Right, we came back to mitigate about 50%. Right, but we reacted from the POI, but gave no follow through, and we came back and pretty much left out equal highs there. Right, so if I'm seeing this now, right, I'm now pretty much referencing this high to see if we're going to take out another high, but this isn't considered to me a higher low point, right, based on that previous high down here until we break this. Right, so this is a pending higher low to me. So I'm now looking at this. We came back down. Didn't fill M3 inefficiency there, but we did come into a M5 candle, even M4 candle. there, right? Very sloppy, right? This is still not something I would have probably traded. But because we're in this mess here, right, there is no trade for me. Right, I wouldn't have traded, based on my rules, right, I wouldn't have traded this deep retracement there, right? But it worked out, right, now creating this high, right? So we pretty much came to take this high out, so any type of continuation is there, and that's your move.
Okay.
But it's
But
because
how could we have,
by focusing on this,
right?
that's all you need to know.
I'm curious though, how could we recognize the unwillingness and play it? Like,
So okay,
in a moment,
yeah,
because I
okay,
was in
that's a
that
good
trade
question. That's a good question.
for myself.
For me, oh fuck me, why is this dog doing this now? I know y'all hear it too. Anyways, okay, anyways. Right. Right, in order to reach here, right? In order to come from here to here, you need breaks of structure, correct? You need initial breaks of structure, right? Which is here. Right? This is our break of structure, right? Now creating bearish order flow, continuing us lower. And now here is where we see unwillingness, right? Which now creates this bullish order flow here. And as soon as we take this high, initial high out here, I now know that we did not reach this low. So if this bearish order flow here would have essentially if the bearish order flow here would have come here and then taken this out, right, then I would consider it a break of structure, and then I would have looked for that continuation lower. But it doesn't make sense for me to want to keep selling this lower if, for one, we have equal highs there. Two, we now have an unwillingness to break this high. Right, once you start breaking these essentially scalp highs here, once you break this scalp high, I now know, right, that this is no longer bearish. Right, does that make sense? I'm seeing this bullish structure point here, this bearish structure point be broken before we took out a previous low. That's how I know this is unwillingness. All right, cool. Does that make sense? Ken, does that make sense?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Right. It's very confusing, but that's because you're in a very tricky scenario here.
Yeah.
Because on a swing standpoint too, you gotta also understand here, right? You're super overextended, right? Nothing will go up forever. This can probably still continue higher, right? But if we are due for a correction, then you need to see, right? Like I said, those significant structure breaks, right? Lows that create highs, lows that create highs, low that creates a high. Okay, low that now is coming here to not break a high here, right here. So I know that if we break essentially any of these two lows here, I can now incline to bearish movement. But I'm not going to assume that here, because even if this works out, you don't have enough data to properly project that, right? That's what pretty much decreases the probability of a scenario. Right, at the end of the day, you want as much confirmation as you can. Yeah, your straight reversal trade. Right, like I'm basing everything off data. In case you guys don't realize that, I'm basing everything off data. Everything that I trade is based off of data. What data are we presented with ourselves? Well, price and candles. Right? Why is price important? Because you understand where, well, pretty much the value, entire value here, right? And candles essentially give us a sign of volume, a sign of footprint, right, of where money is. Yeah, unwilling, yeah. And I mean, that's the same thing for a liquidity grab, in case you guys didn't know that. Like, I always get that question. And actually, I recently did that video too, the BOS versus liquidity grab, right? The only way to understand if a liquidity grab has happened is after you see that bullish intent afterwards. Like, for example, a bearish liquidity grab, you cannot acknowledge this as a liquidity grab until you have a structure break. Right? There is ways to try to predict it when price is here, but you don't have enough data to assume that. Right? So everything is based off data, based off what you can see, not what you think you can see.
So based on being conservative, we would,
yeah, exactly, conservative keyword.
Wait until we have the confirmation from the structural.
And you can easily not take a trade without that full confirmation, but you just have to acknowledge that that's what you're doing. You have to be in control. Right? And I guess that ties to psyche. I guess that ties to, you know, potential internal issues that we all face. Right? But you can't judge it without proper data. Right? And it sucks because a lot of the times you can miss a lot of moves because of that. But would you rather miss a trade or would you rather lose a trade? You know? And if you miss these trades, you eventually begin to see a pattern, right, on what you're missing, why you're missing it, and how to capitalize. That's called improvement. Joy of missing out. That's a good way to look at it. Right? I can never see, I will never ever understand an issue with missing out on something. Right? Because I barely see an issue with losing or with, you know, having a negative outcome. Why? Because a negative outcome is either going to be your downfall or just your excuse to become better. Right? Does that make sense? But yeah, any more questions? Cool, nobody's left, so I haven't bored anybody yet. 1 week down tomorrow, that's good. That's good. That's awesome. You've already done the hardest part, bro. I like lows that create highs. Sounds like a dope t-shirt quote. Well, just know I'll never ever wear a t-shirt that says that, bro. No way I'll ever wear a t-shirt that says that. Almost as cheesy as a Forex t-shirt, I guess. Yeah, you're chilling out. That's good, bro. That's a great move in the right direction. Right. I don't know if you want people to know what you mean with 1 week down. I don't know if you care. Yeah, you don't care? Cool. So you pretty much quit nicotine. Pretty much that's all it is. You quit nicotine. And when you quit nicotine, the hardest part is the first couple of days because you feel like absolute shit. Yeah, that's a great accomplishment. Not many people can do that. It's the same thing as like going to the gym. It's the same thing as like meditating even. Yeah, man, I didn't want you tweaking when you were 40, man. I'm glad you quit. Yeah, you got sick. Yeah, that makes sense. Now imagine somebody that's been doing it for decades trying to quit. But it all falls down to how willing you are to change. Like, if you guys really pay attention, right? I was talking to Sergio about this the other day. Like, majority of the answers to our problems are literally in front of our face. The answer to money issues is literally in front of your face right now. Right? I just think people think way too hard about majority of things. But the thing is that's human nature, so it's like, crazy. It's all mental, yeah, but what does that really mean? I think mental is a very broad term. Right, that's a good question, right? What does it's all mental mean? It's like another question that I ask is like, what is happiness? Can you justify happiness? Like, I can't just say I want to be happy. It doesn't make sense. Or that's probably just the weird side of me coming out, right? But what I'm pretty much getting at is if you can't justify something, then what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, I can do this better than Sergio. Y'all just don't ask the right questions. Nah. This is Sergio's realm though. I'm good on that. I'm good. Yep. Yeah, of course. I was talking to my therapist earlier today, and he. Let me see. Let me read these text messages. We were catching up. We were talking about some stocks, and then he showed me. He found like these sets of pictures that he used to do. He told me I may start selling prints of my artwork, and honestly, they're super beautiful, man. They're beautiful. Let me put it on the Discord so you guys can see. These are like examples that he showed me, and these portraits. I'll tell you why me and him are really really cool too. Um, so if everybody can go to the Discord, you're gonna see that. These images he made them when he had suffered the biggest injury of his life. He had like completely he shattered his knee, right? So I think I had it bad, right? I've had five knee surgeries. He had a knee surgery that completely destroyed his knee, ACL, MCL. I believe he tore a piece of his patella. If you know what your patella is, if not, look it up. A career-ending injury while he was playing football. And he said instead of, let me see. Yeah, he said I drew most / all of these when I was recovering from a devastating injury, one that was supposed to be and is statistically career-ending. While many turn to narcotics, drugs, alcohol, isolation, etc., I chose to delve into my art. Was cathartic. I don't even know what that means. My way of showing praise without words. Right? And I was just like, damn. Like, damn. I was like, wow, like that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. Why? Because I can relate to it so much. What did I do while I was recovering? I built this. I built RCV. We built RCV while I was recovering, right? So I think people need a purpose to drive them, right? And that's not me from research, that's just me from personal experience. Think of addiction as a poison. Depends what the addiction is. But at the end of the day, yes, anything, too much of anything is bad. Um, can smoking weed affect your trading? That's subjective to you, bro. How do you react when you smoke? Are you productive when you smoke, or are you bummed when you smoke? Right? Like just going off of what I see, man, I'm positive smoking weed would not affect you if your name is Reggie.
Really, dude?
Yeah.
My dad named me that. I couldn't choose. I couldn't choose it, bro. It was up to me.
You kind of set yourself up for that one. But yeah, anyways,
Yeah,
it does
I
depend
did.
on the strain. Um, I'm actually a big cannabis enthusiast. Like Sergio knows that the only stocks I look at are weed stocks. So, um, yeah, weed. I don't know. Weed is different for everybody. Some people can be productive. Some people can't be productive. Um, because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, smoking is a big waste of bread, waste of money.
It's true. It's true.
Right? And that didn't come from me. That came from people I used to buy from. Yeah, some people focus better with it. 100%. I know someone that used to smoke before every single exam he took. Straight A's. If you're a farmer, yo, there's a lot of money in that industry. And there's I'd say the weed industry is just as toxic as the forex industry. There's so much shadiness, so much fake stuff in that industry. It's the same thing. Does it affect you, Fredo? Yeah, I don't smoke like that anymore. You know when something's holding you back. Yeah, it also really depends on your experiences with it. Like for example, if you have a bad first trip and you smoke, that's you're probably never gonna smoke again. That's why I don't think you know you like something unless you've done it for a couple times. Yeah, Falco, you mean balance, which is at the end of the thing, which is at the end of the day, balance is what you want. Do you remember Manny's get together? Yeah, I know Sergio doesn't.
Yo, I still have the videos that day.
I still have him.
Bro, that was a fun ass day.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, Falco. At the end of the day, it's balance. The thing is, though, is something that's scary is, weed actually negatively affects your sleep. Right, I was watching this podcast about it. It was super interesting. Apparently, you don't go into deep sleep you don't go to enough deep sleep and into enough REM sleep when you smoke. Even though you feel like you're sleeping more, the quality of your sleep isn't as good. All right. But yeah, I hope you guys like the little talk. It's still early here. It's not even 8 p.m. here. So I still have time to do some homework before I go to sleep. Nicotine keeps you up too. I notice my sleep has gone better. Yes, bro. I don't know. If something isn't naturally meant to be in your body, is it good in any way? Just thinking about that. CBD is different though. Yeah, I've tried it. I don't really feel anything with CBD. I feel way more calmer after a meditation session than I do like doing anything CBD. But I am definitely for essentially like CBD products like lotion and stuff like that. Yeah, CBD shampoo, yeah, stuff like that, yeah. I actually have a where is it? I have a CBD Delta 8 pain cream. Use it on my knee.
Okay, I found this on the web
What
for
the
CBD Delta 8
what
pain
the
cream.
fuck?
Check it out.
Shut up. But yeah, it's meant for inflammation. It's meant for pain. Pretty good. When you meditate, when I get the time, you only do 10-minute sessions, 15-minute sessions. But yeah, I've never ever had anything be so much more or be so much more helpful than meditation. 5 a.m. gym tomorrow? Absolutely not. I'm good. I've actually been trying to track my sleep, even though I haven't been sleeping much. Trying to track my sleep. But yeah, should we just end it off here, guys? You'll be there at 5. Fuck that. I'm good. If you're interested, there's a ring. What's it called? I use a Fitbit to track my sleep. Like my Fitbit tells me exactly like when I go into REM sleep, deep sleep, if I wake up during the night, even if I don't remember it. Apple Watch sucks with tracking sleep. I see. There's a ring. I think I've seen some stuff about it before. I definitely have. But yeah, last year was more so focused on trying to get 8 hours. Now it's like trying to make sure I get 8 good hours, if that makes sense. Or, let's look it up. Talking about this. $300, it's definitely worth it. Yeah, it is this one, Aura Ring. Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, it's dope. I like that. It was about $300. I'd definitely get the black one. Question is how? I have no clue. No clue at all.
I appreciate the call, Fred. I really do. Thank you, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, these are cool though. These are cool. I've definitely heard about these before. Yeah, these are definitely super cool. But yeah, other than that, I think we can end it off here. Yeah, I think we can end it off here.